Hi there, and welcome to Our Weekly Craft, a source for ideas, inspiration, and fun for crafters. I'm Sarah White, Chief Maker at OurDailyCraft.com, and it's been a minute. I haven't been doing Our Weekly Crafts for a few weeks now, so I just wanted to do a quick check-in and let you know, where I've been, what I've been up to, why it hasn't been weekly for a couple weeks, and what I am planning for the future. So I didn't really intend to take time off for Thanksgiving, even though I usually do the videos on Thursday and Thanksgiving is a Thursday. I had intended to, film ahead and post and continue through the end of the year, and it just did not work out that way. I found myself like still really busy with, I had a book manuscript that was due on the 5th. My dad had open heart surgery the Monday after Thanksgiving. There's a cat on my desk. If you hear random sounds in the background, that's Haru doing her business. So I've been dealing with that and hospital visits and rehab visits, and not as much as I should, I'm sure, but I've been, it's in the schedule. It's the end of the school year, so my daughter's been having class activities, which is great to get to go back to school and be a participant in that kind of stuff again. Has been really fun, but it's like a lot of time and effort. And I had a funeral last week of a friend from high school and a baby shower, and like there's life all over the place, and it has kept me from doing some of the basic stuff. I'm knitting a favorite flannel sweater. Isn't this texture cool? It's so easy to do and it's really fun. This is Alicia Plummer, I think, is the designer on this one. And it's just a fun little easy winter knit that I don't know if I told you guys about this, but I had a sweater that I knit a long time ago. So it's been 13, almost 14 years since I knit it, since I started it. But it was obscenely too large, and like the sleeves were so long and so big that I wore it exactly once, and like the sleeves were ripping out of the where I sewed them because it was so heavy. And so I just left it for years and didn't do anything with it. And probably a couple months ago now, I ripped out all the yarn from the sleeves and decided the body could be a vest. And then this is what I'm knitting with. And so far, all of this yarn plus this is just the yarn that came from the sleeves of that sweater. So I've practically knit an entire sweater with the leftovers from the sleeves of a previous sweater. So that's fun, and I think I may have just messed this up. I guess not. The only problem with this pattern is it's the texture is just purl one, knit one, but you do it every fourth round, and I often forget to do it, and I think I may have just messed that up. But and so then I end up doing where I drop stitches and make it a purl a couple rounds down, but it's fine. We'll keep on as if I'm doing it right. But anyway, so there's just been a lot of life, and also around the same time of Thanksgiving, I was starting to think about the new year and what I want this space to be in the new year and what I want in general for the new year. I like to do a word for each year. This year was release, both in the sense of like putting projects out into the world and in the sense of like letting things go and like not being so concerned with the outcome of things, but just like putting stuff out there and seeing what happens and not being like it's the end of the world if this thing doesn't work out. And so that was this vlog was part of that, was like by releasing these videos into the world and seeing what happens. And it's been fun. But I realized that I don't necessarily have something I want to talk about every week, and I don't necessarily have time to do every week, even though I made time for it pretty easily. But it also, once I decided that I was like, this is not what I necessarily want to continue doing, then I was just like, okay, I'm done, And I'm that way. Like when I start things and I want to start it, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to start this thing. And that was the way with the vlog too. Like I wasn't sure that I was necessarily going to keep with it for, my original goal was to do it for a year. And I made it to like 45 weeks in a row, which was that's pretty good for me. But you know, sometimes when I have the idea to do something, I'm just like, okay, I'm doing it now, and that's cool. But then I feel like I started thinking about next year, and so I knew in my mind that I was going to stop, and so I just stopped, you know, a few weeks early. And it's not that I don't want to do videos at all. I just feel like the vlog format is not necessarily a thing that I've figured out how to do it on a weekly basis. So while I would still like to release videos of some sort on a weekly basis, it's not going to be this format every week. I do not know if you can hear the sirens in the background, but there is some sort of emergency vehicle going by in the street, so apologies for that. This is filmed, you know, live in a real place. But anyway, so I think it will be more instructional videos. I think there might be book review videos or like roundups of my favorite books on certain subjects, or looking at the project that I'm working on, like maybe like a pattern review sort of a situation. I don't really know. And then probably vlog type content, more like once a month instead of once a week. But I'm not 100% sure yet on what that's going to look like or how that's going to go, or what I'm doing for the rest of the year. My daughter is in finals week this week, and will be home for the rest of the year, which doesn't mean I can't do things. She's 13. She doesn't need supervision, and she most of the time respects a closed office door when I'm doing videos, but not always. So if I have things to talk about, I will probably do a couple more this year, and if not, then, you know, we'll start anew with the new year. I did not finish my thought about words because I got on a tangent about doing things, deciding to do things, and deciding to stop. But my word for next year, I think, is calibrate. So, like the printer does, right? Calibrating is about finding the right level. It's about, you know, optimal performance, I guess. But it's about, to me, it's about looking at the things that I'm doing, both for work, for fun, the ways I'm putting myself into the world, whether that's social media or blogging or writing books or doing videos or whatever, the things I do for fun, the books I read, you know, what I do with my family time, all of that stuff, like looking at all the things and just calibrating. So like changing things up, seeing what needs to be different, what could be better, what could be gotten rid of, literal physical stuff, but also maybe jobs, maybe, you know, what I feel like I should do. You know, I don't know what it will manifest as entirely, but I feel like the changing of the video process is a calibration, right? Because, you know, I just went into it like, I'm going to do weekly videos, and I'm going to talk, and I'm going to show what I'm working on, and I'm going to have like craft related chats, and I have, and that's been great. But I didn't really go into it like with an editorial calendar or like ideas of what I wanted to talk about. And I feel like I could calibrate that a little bit in the new year and balance, like, because I love doing tutorial videos too, and I've done some as Instagram Reels and TikTok and things, but I really like YouTube as a format, because it feels more permanent, right? So I can do a video about cast-ons and it stays more readily available as a reference for people than doing a TikTok video or even a series of TikTok videos about different cast-ons, you know, and they need to be faster and they need to be, you know, funny or whatever. There needs to be something. I have like 100 followers on TikTok, so it's not like they're going to get shown to a lot of people there. And so I feel like it's a better use of my time instead of trying to get in on TikTok, which is not really, it doesn't really appeal to me as a person. I don't enjoy watching TikToks. I don't enjoy, you know, the part of my job that involves being on TikTok. I don't like it. I don't like doing TikToks. So that's a calibration. It's like, I am okay with not doing that, right? And maybe sometime I'll change my mind, but right now I am fine with not doing TikTok. So how do I take the sort of videos that I might have, or the information that I might have liked to share in a format like TikTok or Reels, and make it for YouTube instead. So that's, one of the things that I want to do in this space in the future. But I don't want to entirely lose the like chatty and space for discussions about the craft industry or about what crafting means to people and that kind of stuff. So it's a balance. And maybe balance is a secondary word for next year, but I don't feel like balance is a real thing. So calibration is like incremental improvements. It's like just paying attention to things and like why do we do what we do and when we do, and how can I make this better for myself, for my family, for the people I work for the people I work with, whatever, how do I get more of the stuff that I like and less of the stuff that I don't like? And so that's sort of my project for the coming year. Hopefully I'll get some time to think about those sorts of things more in the next couple weeks as we're sliding into the new year. I would love to hear if you have a word or if you have an idea of like something you want to focus on or a goal, crafty or otherwise. But if it's crafty, I would love to help with videos next year. If you have a specific question for something, about knitting, crochet, sewing, cross stitch, do a lot of the things, a little bit of painting, a little bit of candle making and soap making. I got a spinning wheel, a little. I should have brought. I don't think it's handy. No, it's not. I bought a little, I think they're 3D printed, but it's a little plastic spinning wheel, motorized, which I bought like a long time ago, but it just came in the other day and I haven't gotten to play with it yet. So that may be may have some spinning content in the future. I have knitting machines that I want to use more and all the stuff. So hopefully there are a lot of avenues for different video content. And again, if you have questions about any of those things that I can help with, I would love to be able to answer those questions in future videos and keep in touch with the wider crafty discussion that we've been having all year. In the meantime, if I don't talk to you again, I hope that you have a great rest of the year, that you find some calm in this crazy winter time, and some time for making. I don't feel like I've been doing a whole lot. I mean, I have been because I was knitting a blanket for the baby shower, and that was super deadline knitting. It was like, this is going to be as big as I have time to knit it, and it came out stroller sized because I was about out of yarn too, but I just didn't have time to do more. And I've been working on fingerless gloves for a knitting workshop video series for Rebecca Page and for her knitting summit that's coming up in February, I think, but I'll tell you more about that when it's closer, and show you the wonderful mitts that I made that you can make too. So yeah, I just hope that you are able to make some crafty time, some reading times, whatever, relaxation, self-care, quiet looks like and feels like for you. Back to that idea from a few weeks ago about what do you need going into winter, what do you need going into this busy season that quickly, I feel like it's funny because December has so much and then you hit New Year's and then it's January and there's like nothing. And so it's like the busy season hits a wall and then there's nothing. And that's kind of nice too, right? So what can you do in that slower, quieter moment to recalibrate, to release, to start the year maybe in a better place than you're leaving this year off? I mean, I know it's been some years that have put us through the ringer lately, right? And so it's hard to like acknowledge still that we've been through this thing that has kept building as more and more things pile on and like people trying to get back to normal, but normal's different now, and we can't really act like it's the same, but we're barreling into all the activities again like it's the same. But there's like the stuff that needs to be processed and all of that. And like, what did you do? You know, the feeling of, and I guess that's part of the going back to normal, is like expecting the same level of productivity from ourselves that we had in 2019, and knowing that that's not actually possible, and that we're not like over the weight of the past few years. That could probably be another video, so we'll see maybe if I have time to do a video about like your end of year reflection and going into the new year, but like acknowledging the stuff that you were able to do, even if your list was like immensely longer, your goals were higher than you were able to accomplish, that acknowledging what did get done is super important right now. If you're thinking about the new year, if you've got things that you did this year that you want celebrated, leave them in the comments. Let me know if you had a word, if you're getting a word for the new year. I'd love to know about that too. Maybe I'll link some of my one little word posts in the show notes, because I've been doing this for years and years and years, and I've had, you know, more success some years than others, but I feel like this was a pretty good year for release. You know, I wrote 2 books for a publisher that I had never worked for before. I published in at least 3 new to me publications this year. You know, I don't know. There's more, but it felt good. So that's nice. Anyway, I should wrap up. I hope that you have a good crafty week and weekend and holiday season and winter and new year and whatever until we see each other again. So yeah, I'll see you again soon.